Hello from the Daily Dad. This week, the Daily Daughter is attending a science camp here in the local area, so that means that I'll have a chance to explore a couple of new dining experiences while I'm here. And this is one of them. By the way, if you're curious about the other two dining experiences, which were both very good, look up Daily Dad The Wine Kitchen and Daily Dad Tuscarora Mill Restaurant. While those two are in historic Leesburg, this restaurant is in Purcellville, about 10 miles to the west, and sits adjacent to the now defunct Washington and Old Dominion Railroad. This railroad operated in Northern Virginia from 1859 until 1968. After the railroad closed, the tracks were removed and the route was converted into the Washington and Old Dominion Railroad Trail in the mid-1980s. But reminders of yesterday remain, including the restored train depot that serviced this stop, informational boards with historical highlights, and of course, Magnolia Mill. The structure currently standing was built in 1905. It was originally operated as a seed processing facility, went through a restoration effort once the mill ceased operations, and in 2004 opened as Magnolias at the Mill Restaurant. And that's where we're going today. I've never been here before, so that means that you get to come along for the ride too. I'm curious and you're curious. Let's grab lunch at Magnolias at the Mill today on The Daily Dad. A few videos ago, you might remember our dining experience at Tuscarora Mill Restaurant. Well, the same ownership group that owns Tuscarora owns this restaurant. Please check out the link if you haven't seen that video yet. Anyway, it's no surprise to see a lot of similarities regarding the unique design elements featuring original mill machinery like gears and scales, so the early 20th century charm has been maintained. I've decided to sit in the sunroom for lunch. It's the very definition of lovely, with lots of natural light, tasteful design elements, and I think it's the prettiest of the dining areas in the mill. Scanning the menu, I'd describe it as elevated comfort food. It features a lot of handhelds like burgers or sandwiches or po' boys. There are a variety of salads and pizzas, and as I had hoped, there are a few things that I cannot or will not make at home. So we're going to start with the deviled eggs, and then I'm going to give the almond-crusted trout a go. So I alluded to there being several dining areas in this mill, which can hold up to 300 patrons. Let me just give you a quick tour of the other areas. All of them have a unique feel, and it's spread across 3 levels. So the history, the pastoral setting, the adjacent walking trail, the overall warmth. It's an incredibly gorgeous dining venue, and I doubt that there's anything like this within miles of here. Lunch has arrived. Let's look at the deviled eggs. You know, these are called deviled eggs because they are supposed to have a little kick and wake up your taste buds. Each egg was fine, but I thought the toppings were a bit bland. The one with the candied bacon left a good impression, maybe because of the crunch and salty profile against the whipped yolk center, but the other two lacked pop. Maybe instead of a tiny piece of shrimp or sun-dried tomato, some pancetta or prosciutto, or capers or dill would have kept things a bit more lively, but that's just me. Still, it's pretty good, and I'd order it again. Now, here's the almond-crusted trout, and if there was a way to bling out fish, well, here you have it. It comes with fresh veg, it sits atop a large serving of Parmesan risotto, it rests in beurre blanc, and it's topped with lump crab meat. First, a public service announcement. Make sure you ask the server when the fish arrived in store. The server told me that fish arrives only every 4 to 5 days, which seems like a long gap in between deliveries. Or maybe he was just misinformed. But ask before you order. I came here on a Friday, and he told me that the fish arrived yesterday, so that gave me a bit more confidence in ordering this. And I wasn't disappointed. It had that desired flaky texture you would want from fresh white fish. However, and there is a huge however that I want to bring forth, this is not a good lunch option. It's covered with a butter sauce and sits on a bed of Parmesan-infused risotto, so it is a very rich and heavy dish and is probably a calorie bomb. Now, this in no way is to say that the chef didn't prepare this correctly. It's pretty good, but it's too heavy for a midday meal, especially if you have afternoon meetings still to come. This will take you into food coma territory, and I only ate half of this and took the rest home. Again, this is just me talking out loud, but perhaps a simple dry seasoning and a side of succotash would have really brought out its farm-to-table beauty. I'm not going to recommend this particular entree as a lunch option though. However, I can still easily recommend this restaurant. All the patrons were enjoying themselves, and the other food that I saw as I glanced at other tables looked delicious. And certainly, a lot of attention went into preparing my meal. Overall, I would say that the experience was pretty good. Still, after trying Tuscarora and knowing what the ownership group is capable of delivering, this place should have been very good. So, 3 stars out of 4 for Magnolias at the Mill. I'm still very glad that I came out this way to check it out, and you will be too. Hey, this is the Daily Dad, reminding you to try new things and to be happy.